That I explain some of the things I keep in mind on this game, like keeping the reload process hidden, which is normally the cue for anyone to rush in for the first shot without worrying about the overhead shot coming. If you take a look at what's happening here, whether it's an active reload or a reload fail, the Gnasher gets raised above cover, and this information would serve as a green light for an opponent to make the first move. Luckily, moving from right to left or vice versa will help hide that vulnerability and manipulate body language interpretation so that one can not only keep their enemy guessing but allows the user to react faster. A wall bounce to 6 o'clock, the rear dodge, still comes in handy to quickly create distance from one's opponent trying to chunk us with one shot. Same thing, notice a slight camera shift in character foot position adjustment was necessary for the cover item and my avatar's back to be parallel with one another. Kind of thinning myself there and then setting up for the Gnasher swing and turned into a Gnasher counter shot. Second swing limited hit because his aim was awesome, only it took longer for him to press RT due to the accidental roll. Rear dodging is quicker than a roadie run and it's faster to react from there to any incoming fire. Centered on the pillar to stay fully cloaked from the enemy's sight, ears open to that 4 o'clock, thinning oneself, taking advantage of physics and tickling an opponent's psyche for a momentous occasion. Here's another common bluff on these random objects in the map because nobody expects the left side assault and the aim correction happened in the process of the corner reach, cancelling just on time for maximum damage. This attack is known to the average player as a disadvantageous approach. Here's a camera correction and wall bounce combination happening simultaneously. Again, my focus already in the direction I'm shooting, while my enemy doesn't have the time to realize this. Taking a closer look, the cancelling of the wall bounce happens just before making contact. This hides audible noises that pinpoint our position and puts us at a great position to counter shoot anyone that might have been hiding on the other side. And my target's shadow confirming whether it's safe for me to move in or not. A simple task is baiting for target accuracy and mistakes. Overall, it was the same strategy as before. People don't expect that left side risky route. Objective points to the right direction, but sometimes you can catch those footsteps that are on the other side of that wall or floor level, like in canals or blood drive. The path to get there, every cover item, every wall on deck is a chance for getting attacked from, so choosing the roadie run versus bot walking is the more challenging approach. Because yes, it's faster, but getting too comfortable with long depresses means complacency and certain death around those corners. Maximum output without the player countering some of our pellets. Wall bounces and side roadie runs for that, baby. 45 to 45, creating a nice little triangle. One has to have their settings at their own comfortable and reliable number to where error is almost at zero. Practice without a target being there first and expect the overhead shot. Shooting patterns. Take a look at my attack here. Gnasher swing left, jab forward, and Gnasher swing right. It's not repeating the same format of shooting. It's not bot walking. It's not pop shooting. Here's a jab forward bluff. You can see where I was baiting the enemy for him to shoot or move in towards me. Sending rounds from the left side of a cover item with no up A or back A and keeping a safe distance is all about timing. Coming up the ramp, it was clear he was there. Right hemisphere placement on a dead cog. Trying to do this without a target first. Again, build that muscle memory. Adjust settings if you need to, because honestly it has to be high up there in the numbers for this to work. Same for the reaction shots, because it's all about camera speed inputs that contradict each other quickly. Touching that border of the death sphere is all that's necessary, just like in basketball. You're not going to go and shoot from farther than the three-point line just to make it harder on oneself, right? Safe distance shooting, my friends. Input commands have to happen quickly, no doubt. That's why I look like a rear dodge again. No pop shots here, just swipe shots that look like curved shots. Forward jab shots in a combination of two curve shots that intersect. At one point, the X slash, which I'll go over in another video, along with the up A, back A, and the left side shot. Take a closer look at the input commands. They happen so fast here after one another, all to avoid the processing, reaction time, and shooting technique my opponent had for me. Shoot and dodge, shoot and dodge. Can you believe that, guy? Shoot, dodge, shoot applied here only in roadie run format because of lack of walls to bounce to. And if you saw closer, there was a few Gnasher counters involved. It's just like two swords clashing to a stalemate before the next swing. Second or third, which left the player confounded. Consistent accuracy is key. RT speed matters second, and I'm not talking about who got more deep presses in. I'm talking about who pressed it at the right time with the most accurate result. Another bluff shot here to provoke the enemy, quickly converting it to the dodge maneuver, baiting for the inward rush. And if I ever feel like I BS'd on a shot, I double check where my ping lies to ensure it is under 100. Sometimes a little tiny Wi-Fi symbol at the bottom of the screen, right hand side, shows up and serves as a Hakuna Matata reminder for me. Character facing is important, and I personally always found high contrasting colored weapon skins as a risk factor because they help one look and feel super cool for sure, but at the cost of guiding and confirming our character's body language up to the level of skill and interest with the level of degree and cardinal direction that a character faces. Not to say it's entirely bad, because weaknesses can be strengths, and it could serve as good bait, just the way I baited and tested the communication of the other team on that exhibit bridge. More telegraph bait. I pretended to lose interest here, and I knew that he had no way to visually confirm my location around that corner. Wall bounce canceled a duck on that right hemisphere. Just like when I mentioned switching up the style of shooting with curves or jousting, the combination of the aim down sight method, aka hard aiming, breaks the pattern of shooting a certain way along with the feet moving patterns that can be used to guide our enemies as reticle, millimeters ahead of our avatar. Selection is important as well, because one is a red light and the other is a green light for the enemy to move either closer to us or to find another way to get around that one-shot baiter spot. On left side approaches, our right hemisphere automatically gets blocked by a cover item, which is why a wall bounce to get that right hemisphere dock is necessary. If the timing one got is slower, I find it wiser to tactically retreat for a different approach. Fire forget, fire forget! If no up A or back A is used around those corners, I personally do not recommend hard aims on those situations, since the hard aim is already most likely set up for us as we approach that corner. Same should be said for us. If we have complete concealment, the overhead shots should be automatic, assuming one isn't pressured by a long shot enemy, followed by that left or right side 45 to 45 triangle shot finish, with or without a bounce. A tiny curve works just as fine with that 4 o'clock or 7 o'clock roll in mind, hopefully within distance of a cover item to set up for the overhead shot. Support to main, it's a big one, since switching out is just as fast as popping a Gnasher round, and they also have the potential to block out most, if not all, the rounds of a Gnasher shooter, even if they are highly accurate with it. Touching a cover item hides the weapon swap out body language and makes it milliseconds faster to make that swap happen, always going for the side parries opposite of the opponent's Gnasher firing pattern. Notice that the Voltog granted me with a 100% counter shot with the perfect timing. Very useful approaching overhead shot opportunists and believers in the oldest trick in the book when it comes to this game. Missing a shot or shooting partially and not as intended happens. Tactical retreats and defeating the pattern of shooting. Notice how I turn the tables with the overhead first shot maneuver. Same for left side confrontations. The overhead shot allows one to throw the opponent off, sometimes making them flinch, just to ruin their shot pattern cycle, but ultimately it makes them one shot. That's all the time I got for this vid. Got many more Gnasher tips and combat refreshers for this game to share, so stay safe and stay tuned. Later.